have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be, wherever you are in the world. When you hit that play button, so glad you did. This is Dr. Cause and Effect. Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna coming at you with another episode of the Genesis Frequency, diving right into part two. We talked last week about your purpose. We had a conversation about purpose. We explored the difference between goals and purpose. And we discovered that goals give us destinations, but purpose gives us what? Gives us direction. So we're talking about creating your North Star, crafting a life of purpose statement. We should all have a purpose statement. So we, we took a look at the difference between goals and purpose. We realized and had a conversation about, well, not really a conversation because I was the only one talking. If you want to have a conversation, reach out to me. Successappointment.com gets you on my calendar. There you go. Let's talk about transformation, goal achievement, moving the needle from where you are now to where you want to be in your life, personally and professionally, in your small business, in your corporation, in your company. Get me to your decision maker and encourage them to bring some of these leadership development programs and personal development programs into the workplace. Have to develop our people. So I talked about how goals may change throughout life, and purpose becomes the North Star that guides us through every season. And today I want to take the next step with all of you. There's tremendous value in these, so don't be one of those, you know, people place little or no value on that which they get for free, and it's just human nature. Don't make that mistake because there's tremendous value here, okay? So we're going to move from understanding purpose to today creating a practical life purpose statement, your own, right? You should develop this. You should have this. You should have this guiding North Star because purpose becomes much more powerful when you can clearly articulate it. Now, I know many of you probably don't have this because I know I talk to a lot of you and most don't even have any goals. And if they have goals, they don't have them written down. So there's a lot of work to do out there. All right. So we're going to take this next step today together and articulate our life purpose statement. So because, when you can put it into words, when you can read it, when you can have it in the arm's reach, reflect on it and use it as a compass for decision making, man, you become so much more powerful and there's a sense of aliveness. I noticed the energy shift is remarkable. And my hope is that by the end of this episode, you'll begin creating your own personal North Star. All right. Many people, I think, feel stuck not because they lack talent, not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack opportunity. It's all around us, right? They feel stuck because they lack clarity. That's really what it comes down to so often when I talk to people. And without clarity, everything can feel equally important, right? Every opportunity looks tempting. Every distraction seems attractive. Oh, that looks good. Every new idea pulls us in another direction. The result, well, we become busy. Busyness is what the day becomes all about. We become busy but not necessarily fulfilled, productive, perhaps, but not necessarily purposeful. A purpose statement acts as a filter. It helps answer questions like, should I pursue this opportunity? Does this align with my values? Is this helping me become who I want to become? Is this moving me closer to my deepest purpose? Without that filter, life can feel scattered. With it, well, in my opinion, my humble opinion, life gains direction. So, your purpose, I want to share that your purpose is discovered. I really think we all discover our purpose. We don't invent it. And that's an important distinction to make. One mistake people make is assuming they need to invent a purpose. And I don't really think that's true. I believe purpose is discovered, it's uncovered, it's revealed. It's often been leaving clues for you throughout your life. Think about it. There are activities you've always enjoyed, ways of helping people that feel just natural, right? Topics that energize you, conversations that light you up, moments when you feel most alive. Those experiences are not random. They are clues. Purpose, I like to say purpose tends to leave fingerprints. If we're paying attention, we begin to recognize recurring themes. In my life, I love to share. I was at such a low point and I walked right up to death's door, made some decisions, and in that decision realizing that I had a choice and that I still had an ability to make a decision, and making that decision and setting the intention, then making a commitment to it, and then lining up my actions around that commitment has absolutely transformed my life. And then from there, transformation after transformation, goal achievement, all of it fell into place. And so I feel most alive, like doing this podcast, getting out there and sharing and doing my speaking engagements and facilitating the multitude of programs that I facilitate in the corporate environment or with individuals. So that for me has become a part of my purpose. The We can all rise above whatever it is. So I invite you to really pay attention and to look for some of these fingerprints. So one of the first questions, and I'm pulling some of this stuff from Jack Canfield's, continue to pull from Jack Canfield's work in the Success Principles, and he suggests beginning with just a simple question. Simple question: what do you love to do? What do you love to do? Not what are you paid to do, not what others expect you to do, not what seems practical. What do you genuinely love to do? Teaching, leading, creating. I love creating. I love creating new stuff. Writing, helping, building, encouraging, speaking, organizing, solving problems, listening, mentoring, serving. Most people underestimate the importance of this question. What do you love to do? And I think we have to realize it's because joy contains information. Joy contains information. Joy points, joy guides, joy reveals. What you love may be one of the clearest clues to your purpose. And the second question is equally important. What comes naturally? What comes easily to you? What feels natural? And you're engaged in it, you love it, and it just feels so natural. I remember what went around for a long time is, man, if they only knew I would do this work for free. That's what I'm talking about, that sweet spot. What feels natural? What do people consistently seek your help with? There's another clue, another fingerprint. Where do you excel without excessive struggle? Now, this doesn't mean no effort is required. Every gift requires development, every skill requires practice, right? But some activities feel like rowing downstream, others feel like rowing upstream. Purpose often resides near your natural strength. So the place where talent and contribution meet. One of my favorite exercises when I went through the Jack Canfield material involves identifying the qualities you most enjoy expressing. So, another question you can ask yourself: what qualities do I most enjoy bringing into the world? And I just shared with you some of mine. What qualities do you most enjoy bringing into the world? And maybe some of the answers out there are love, compassion, courage, your wisdom, creativity, joy, excellence, leadership, service, kindness, faith. The list goes on. For Canfield, two of those qualities were love and joy. Now think about this. If someone followed you around for a week, would they be able to identify the qualities you value most? Because purpose isn't just what we do, it's how we show up while doing it. So we want to look at how do you express these things? You got to ask another question here. How do I most enjoy expressing those qualities I've just identified? Hopefully you just identified some. How do you most enjoy expressing those qualities? Maybe you express love through teaching. Maybe you express wisdom through coaching. Maybe you express creativity through design. Maybe you express compassion through caregiving. Maybe you express leadership through mentoring others. If that's you, I want to talk to you. I'm looking for some mentors and some leaders and some facilitators. This is where purpose begins to take shape, asking all these questions, because purpose lives at the intersection of what matters to you, what comes naturally, what brings you joy, and how you contribute to others. So, one of the most important questions I think that of out of all these is we're going to dive into what kind of world do you want to help create? I think that's one of the most important questions of all. Imagine a perfect world, not perfection in every detail, but a world that reflects your highest values. What does it look like? How do people treat one another? How do they work together? How do they care for themselves? How do they contribute? How do they live? Your answer reveals something profound because purpose is rarely self centered. Purpose usually includes contribution. Purpose asks, what difference do I want my life to make? So let me give you another example here. Again, I do this because I love sharing. I love sharing what has worked in my life, stuff that I've read, studied, applied, taken action on. But my purpose isn't simply recording podcast. It isn't simply teaching workshops. It isn't simply coaching individuals. Those are activities, vehicles, expressions, right? The deeper purpose underneath those activities is helping people awaken to their potential, discover what's possible, and become more of who they were created to be, to realize that they can rise above any challenge, any obstacle, to realize their divine gifts and step into their divine potential and awareness of their divine potential. That's the thread connecting everything I do. And when you discover your own thread, life begins making more sense. So let's talk about creating your purpose statement. Let's begin putting this all together. Jack Canfield's statement is inspiring and empowering people to live their highest vision in a context of love and joy. Great and simple. Mine's quite long. But notice his simplicity. It's not complicated, it's clear. It's memorable, it's meaningful, inspiring and empowering people to live their highest vision in a context of love and joy, right? Here's a formula you can use. I use my gifts of blank and blank to help blank create, experience, or become blank. Fill it in. All right, here it is again. Write it down. I use my gifts of and fill it in to help blank create, experience, or become. For example, I use my gifts of leadership and encouragement to help people discover their potential and achieve meaningful success. Or I use my gifts of compassion and wisdom to help people heal, grow, and live more fulfilling lives. There's no perfect statement. You can't really get this wrong. You can be out of alignment, but you can't really get it wrong. So it's not doesn't have to be perfect. Just truthful, just a truthful one, right? Now remember, purpose creates alignment, and that's what we're all about here, right? We want to be in alignment. I mean, one of the greatest benefits of having a purpose statement is alignment itself. Suddenly your goals, the goals you should all have a master goal list and then work on a personal and professional goal one at a time, right? But one of the greatest benefits is that alignment and your goals then begin to you see which ones are really supporting your purpose. Then your calendar begins supporting your purpose. And your relationships begin supporting your purpose. Instead of moving in 10 different directions, your life starts moving in one direction with greater consistency, greater clarity, greater intention. And there's a lot of benefits to this. Benefits of knowing your purpose. Purpose helps you, it helps you stay focused because you know what matters. You are starting to feel really passionate. It's another byproduct because your goals connect to something meaningful. You gain clarity because distractions become easier to identify. And boy, do we need that clarity more than ever. There's so many different things pulling at us for our attention, right? So we can easily identify those things that are distractions and remain in that place of clarity. We can live with integrity. It's another benefit of all of this because your actions reflect your values. We can build trust. We all know the importance you should by now of the know, like, and trust factor. So important to develop that with whatever we're creating or building our lives around. We want to build that trust, integrity, because your actions reflect your values, and trust goes with it because people recognize authenticity. And then you start to experience flow, right? Because your energy is invested where it belongs. And then you find fulfillment because you're contributing rather than merely accumulating. And listen, this is key. This is key because I have worked with ages from 18 and even younger, but 18 really up to My oldest one's going to be 95 this year, and he's still running as a sprinter in Senior Olympics. One of my favorite parts of Canfield's teachings is it's never too late, never. I know people who discovered their purpose at 25, others at 45, others at 65, others well after retirement, others after major setbacks, others after loss. So many of this is me. Major setbacks, a lot of loss, my own, my family, my son, my wife, all that. Life purpose is not reserved for the young, nor is it limited by past decisions. We can overcome those. I'm proof of that. As long as you're breathing, purpose remains available. And here's the good news. You don't have to figure everything out today. All right? Everybody say, I can't wrap my head around this today. You don't have to rewrite your entire life this afternoon. You simply begin leaning into purpose a little more each day. One decision, one action, one conversation, one opportunity, one expression of your gifts. Purpose unfolds through participation, not perfection. So I want to wrap this up here um, on time as we conclude. This has been a two-part series, so go back if you haven't listened to the first one where I really kind of outline all of this. I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge as we wrap this up here. Take some time this week, all right? Schedule the time. Don't don't try to find time. Again, we don't find time. We schedule time. We schedule it. Dedicate the time. Put a time limit on it. Half hour, an hour, whatever it is, and do this thing. Take some time this week. Find a quiet place. Grab a notebook. It's powerful when we can write down with our hand, not type into a keyboard. Write down longhand, cursive, print, no matter. Find a quiet place, grab a notebook, ask yourself, what do I love? What comes naturally? What qualities do I most enjoy expressing? What kind of world do I want to help create? How can my gifts become a blessing to others? Then begin writing. Just write it down, whatever's coming, whatever's flowing, whatever's dropping in, whatever inspiration is moving through you, write it down. Begin writing. Remember, we don't invent it, we discover it. Write, write it down, not for protection, not for perfection. All right, we're not doing this for protection, we're doing this for discovery. I loved exercise I used to do when I was doing a lot of writing. I just take some deep breaths and I just start writing. Didn't even think about it, just start writing. You can edit it later, right? But but do this exercise and schedule several sessions to sit with this and lean into it a little bit more every day. We're discovering because somewhere in these answers that you'll write down, your North Star is waiting. And once you begin following it, life takes on a different quality. It really does. More focus, more meaning, more fulfillment, more joy. And this will make a big difference in your life, in what you do, and how you feel about you, and how you're showing up as you authentically, with clarity, with direction, knowing that your North Star is right there in front of you, guiding you every step of the way. So that's going to do it for today. You have been listening to the Genesis Frequency Podcast with me, Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna. And keep following that North Star. Reach out. Let's have a conversation. Successappointment.com, all one word. Opens up as a calendar in your time zone. Pick a time. Let's have a conversation. And I look forward to speaking to you about all you want to achieve in your lives and your life, I should say. And let's do this thing. Until next time, I wish for you an infinitely spectacular day. God bless you.